Chris, I think the last time we spoke there was some kind of bad injury news about Norrington, Davis and Lowe. Anything new on injuries with regard to this match this weekend?
As you can imagine, I'm not going to give anything away. Game's hard enough as well without letting everybody else know what our business is. What I would say is that there's been progression with 2 or 3 of the players. Whether they'll be involved in the weekend on Sunday afternoon, we'll wait and see, but we'll leave it to the last minute. But and as we know, it's not a great situation to be in at the moment. We felt as if we took a couple of steps forward and some big ones backwards. And as I said this morning, when I was speaking to my friend over there, to be our best, we need consistency, we need continuity, we need to be able to work on the training ground with those players, and when you can't, it obviously makes life a little bit more difficult for you.
When you speak of players coming back, might they involve, because I was going to talk about some of the long-term ones and maybe address the Egans of this world, and wonder if there was a time scale on them coming back into the reckoning? Yeah,
there's no time scale. If John gets back before the end of the season, he'll have done remarkably well. But he's pushing for that, as he is, because of his attitude, and we all know what a personality and character he is. Obviously, Basham's situation, from his point of view, is a long way off. Just getting back to living a normal life really is the main target for him and our medical staff.
Tom Davies obviously has been playing. In terms of coming back from the injury situation that he had, how close is he maybe to 90 minutes? Yeah,
I mean that's the dilemma now. When do we go with Tom and give him his first start under me? So. Yeah, he's got on the pitch at Luton, got on the pitch last week. That's going to be the question from our point of view. When do we? I suppose, talking in old money, we'd have loved him to have a couple of reserve team games, but obviously the situation with that is a little bit more difficult and a little bit more complex as well. So, but. He's been bright around the place. He's obviously another player that the club have missed hugely through his Premier League experience. But he's been around it, which has been really good, and he's a real good character and a personality, and him being around the group and speaking and having the feel of a Premier League player in your ranks is beneficial, and more beneficial obviously when we can get him on the pitch, and more beneficial when we can get him to start a game.
I appreciate you're not going to say who, but is it even a dilemma with regard to the selection of the goalkeeper, or do you just go same as?
Well, I could do, or I could change.
That's what I mean. Is it a dilemma for you?
It's a decision. Yeah, it's a decision.
Have you made that decision?
Yeah, I have made that decision, yeah.
Right, okay. Ollie Arblaster signed his contract this week. I think something's been rumbling for a while. What is it about him that you guys see? Because there's been sort of discussions about him being pretty good for about 18 months, 2 years now. So what is it that is there with him?
He's pretty good. I personally think a lot about him. Known and watched his progression through the academy here and even at international level. So for him to be playing on that stage shows that he's got a lot of qualities. Local boy, Sheffield United fan, which obviously it goes down tremendously well with myself and the football club and the supporters as well. We're delighted to sign Ollie up. There's been a lot of talk about him and a lot of noise, and the noise is because he's a really good player. And now, yet again, with the dilemmas that we all have as managers, is when to give him that opportunity to get himself going and up and running as a Sheffield United player. So, of course, he's in our thoughts now. We watched him closely out at Port Vale. He had a fantastic loan period. There was a couple of clubs that wanted to take him in the Championship. We wanted him in and around us, and knowing that he'll play a part in the second part of the season. Unfortunately, he had that injury in his final game against Middlesbrough in the Cup, So there's me and Jack Lester sat in the stands, and you're looking at each other and thinking, we're delighted to get Blaster back, and then all of a sudden he's getting carried off. But he's overcome all that. He's back out on the grass now, and he's pushing. And as I've said all along, Andy, I want as many difficult decisions as possible. I want everybody to push. I want to make sure that we have that competition. I want to, make those difficult decisions that some players won't be happy about. But I'd rather have them than the situation that has been happening for a long time at this football club.
You instigated a turnaround after the Villa performance to then get the result at Luton. What's been done this week to get a turnaround performance after the result last week for?
Yeah, I'm not shying away from anything, and I will take full responsibility what happened at Villa, and the narrative will be, as I said in the press conference, was the defeat against Brighton in the Cup. And everybody will look at it different ways. The defeat against Villa and the defeat against Brighton in the league. I look at it a different way. I'm not trying to protect the players. I'm looking at it a different way. I thought the scoreline was unjust in the cup game. We went for it and we conceded 2 late goals. With not a full hit team out against Villa. There's no getting away from the fact that they went 4-0 up in double quick time and absolutely punished us for our mistakes. And it was a really long, difficult evening. And we get a man sent off against Brighton on Saturday and concede 2 quick goals. Understandable, not acceptable, but understanding that, not understandable is the wrong word to be fair, understanding that has happened, and how do we recover from it? Can we take the game deep, which we did, 75, 76 minutes, and obviously the situation that we're trying to rectify is, the quick goals that are going in and the trend that is happening. So, you'll look at it from one way, I'll look at it for the players have given everything. Is there an absolute crisis on our hands here? No. It was a disappointing afternoon. Only 3 points lost though. We were desperate for another result off the back of a really good one at Luton. Of course, back-to-back results in the Premier League are huge. We didn't get it. All the other teams near enough lost on the weekend around us. So that doesn't make it acceptable, but it's 3 points lost, and we have to go again for the points on Sunday afternoon. So of course disappointed, but we have to go again, not feel sorry for ourselves, nobody's going to help us, all the stuff that we all talk about. People will be talking about as yet again the narrative about the goals conceded and they're gone, and you've just got to get back on the bike. And we've had a decent week. We've had players back, as we talked about from an injury point of view. The boys have been nice and bright, and the only way that they can affect anything is their performance during the week, their attitude during the week. Morale has been good, and we take that into the game on Sunday afternoon. You've
spoken recently about your concerns about the quick-fire nature of some of the goals. How can you address that in a training scenario? Because the heat of a match day and all of that, it can just happen sometimes.
Well, you can talk to the players in the small-sided games. You can put restrictions on it. You can identify that moment, even in a small-sided game. When one goes in, what's the mindset now? So messages, video analysis, getting together. What do we do to to help us in that situation? I think, as we talked about, the odds, when you go 1-0 down and 2-0 down in quick succession, sort of escalate for you to get back into the game. So it makes it really difficult. So that's something that I think we all recognise and realise between now and the end of the season we're going to concede. But it's the manner of the goals that concern me. They're not great goals that are going in, and it's the quick succession that we have to deal with to give us a fighting chance of getting back into the game and getting something from it.
And against the Wolves team, who you're looking to do the double over, what's your assessment of them right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, an established Premier League football club, some major players there, settled group, big club in the Premier League, and had some fantastic results this season. So there's no difference to going to Chelsea, to going to Wolves, to going anywhere in this division. Every opposition pose a huge challenge for us at this stage of the season, and the way we are at this stage in terms of you know, our sort of standing.
So, best of luck.
Cheers, mate. Thanks. Hi, Demo.
I know you've had your say about Mason Holgate sending off. I just wondered if he now has a bit of a job of work to win back your trust and confidence, and that of the players as well, his teammates.
Yeah, he does. You know, he understood it. He understood straight away. You know, he's not jumping through hoops. It was, you know, looking back, and we all look at it, when it gets slowed down, it looks a lot worse than what it was. Got to say, you know, delighted that Mitoma, you know, obviously never suffered any sort of injury, or if it did, it was minimal. And we understand, you know, the reckless attitude of the challenge, the mistiming of it all, and the sort of out of control bit. So he understands that. He spoke to the group, he spoke to me, he spoke to staff, and he has to deal with it. It's a mistimed tackle and a little bit more, and you know, the referee eventually makes that right decision, and we lose a player for 3 games. But he'll work hard in that period. He's an experienced pro. Won't be the first time he's been sent off, and he has to come back and show the qualities that, you know, we feel he's got inside him, and that's made him, you know, the sort of player playing in Everton and the career that he's had.
How would you assess the job that the Wolves manager Gary ONeal's done? A rare thing, a British manager doing very well in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, it can be really. I think everybody thought it was maybe not the right decision in terms of the decision that was made at Bournemouth, and Gary's had a great career and a smart football guy. You know, done his work in the academy at Liverpool, and worked his way through at Bournemouth, to be given that opportunity at Bournemouth to put his seal on it, put his mark on it, and he's certainly doing that with a very talented squad that he's got at Wolverhampton Wanderers.